Welcome to Behind the Buzz. My name is Rebecca Urena, and we are here with Gerald Commissiong. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Amarantus Bioscience Holdings is a biotechnology holding company focused on diagnostics and therapeutics, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, can you explain to us a little bit more about those two segments and the subsidiaries under that umbrella?
Sure. So Amarantus, we have both diagnostics and therapeutics. The concept was you obviously need to diagnose a disease before you can treat it, and oftentimes a diagnosis is related to pathways involved in the treatment. So, for example, in Alzheimer's, we think there's a pathway called cell cycle dysregulation, which is related to cancer. Those mechanisms that are involved in cancer, we think are also involved in Alzheimer's. And so the fact that we can identify this mechanism, we think we can apply that understanding to develop new treatments.
So Emerald now has rights on engineered skin substitutes. So how does that fare with other regenerative, skin substitutes?
So ESS, engineered skin substitute, fares differently because it's really an autologous. It means it's from your own body. So there are skin substitutes out there that are from your own body but have only one layer of skin, the top layer called the epidermal layer. There are skin substitutes out there that are not from your own body but have both layers. But there are no skin substitutes out there that are both from your own body and have both layers of skin. And this allows you to treat deeper burns that are more dangerous and that cover a larger percentage of the body than other substitutes. So it's really a technology that can replace an entire body's worth of skin within the context of burns, and ultimately we think could be applied outside of that, ultimately in cosmetics.
And when do you think that it will be FDA approved?
So we think the first version of this will be approved in 24 to 36 months. Okay. We're now working with Emerald to develop the protocols and put the funding in place to run the phase 3 programs. And we have a good relationship with Shriners Hospitals, who have obviously done all the clinical development work to date, and we think we're going to continue to work with them in the phase 3 program.
So Alto Pharma, a subsidiary of Amarantus, recently received allowance from the European Patent Office. How does that, impact investors now in the company?
Well, it's an interesting development. Altoprazine is a former AbbVie drug, so it was developed by Abbott Pharmaceuticals. It's been in over 30 clinical trials, a lot of good data, and now the focus has been on ADHD and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. We've got some good data with altoprazine alone, and now, given that we have IP protection, we have the potential to combine that with CBD and other cannabinoids, and we've seen CBD as a standalone also have positive effects in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and ADHD. So the potential to combine these together may yield even greater benefit, and so that's something we're very excited about. And with the emerging field of cannabis pharma, we think the areas are not going to be just these cannabinoids on their own, because there's not really a lot of IP protection, but rather there's going to be the cannabinoids plus proprietary compounds, and altoprazine plus CBD squits fairly in that direction.
Wow, and are we already seeing patients already started to use that, CBD and?
Oh, absolutely. So from a wellness standpoint, obviously we don't have cures for these diseases yet, and right. A lot of the treatments out there are treating the symptoms, and they're not completely controlling the symptoms. And so, as the deficiencies in terms of what patients are suffering from are exposed, they're looking for alternatives. And certainly CBD, now that it's legal with the Farm Bill, people are definitely trying it, and they're finding various, some people are having benefits, some people aren't, some people are using it a certain way, some people aren't, and so the next phase is start to standardize that and see if we can get some consistent results.
Interesting. So Amarantus has been making strides in the CBD world. How do you think that will affect the company in the long run?
So we see CBD, it's going to grow significantly in the years ahead because people seem to be finding benefit. You're not going to pay a significant premium for a product just because. You're only going to continue to do that over time because you're seeing a benefit.
Right.
As people are outraged with, farmer pricing and the need to consistently take, a drug to treat the side effect of the drug that you were taking to begin with to solve your problem. The fact that you can start to use CBD to allay some of these symptoms, which again needs to be validated with additional studies, but as people start to have anecdotal benefit, we do see some CBD products have been approved by the FDA, especially in the area of epilepsy. We think that this is a growing field, that it's going to help in terms of reducing overall costs by getting a lot of people off of pharma drugs where they're seeing minimal benefit, and transition them onto some wellness solutions around both, typical treatment paradigms as well as functional medicine treatment paradigms, and that we think is going to be a big shift. So we see a lot of, natural food, vegans, plant-based. We think things are going to continue in that direction. And so, our objective as a company has been to improve human health, help people who have disease, and we think CBD and other cannabinoids will ultimately do that. And we're going to apply our FDA clinical trial experience and the team that we have that's got some big pharma backgrounds, that brought drugs to market, to really work on solving these issues and delivering benefits for patients. That's where we see the value.
Continuing with CBD, Amarantus just acquired a majority interest in Hempori. So what led to that decision?
Well, in line with the last question, we see that people are starting to use CBD. The people that use CBD primarily have some medical problems that they're trying to find solutions for. And generally, it's tough to do that. People don't want to put their health in the hands of, an online website. And people at the large big box retailers like Walgreens and CVS, you're not getting a lot of education there. So we think there's a big education gap in terms of how people are both acquiring CBD products and using them. And that trust factor is, in a digital world, is tough to build. So there's still a human element to, health, and there's a human element to education. Mm-hmm. And so we think that, having storefronts and people who come into those storefronts have their medical problems, we tell them how we see others with similar problems, how they're seeing benefit, and then working to really work with our customers to track the data and really, over time, figure out which treatment algorithms lead to outcomes, and then, putting those treatment algorithms into robust trials over time is how we see an ability to really gather the data that's going to allow us to treat people. And with that, we're going to use our branded products or products from partners to get that data. And over time, we think that'll be a marketing advantage for us to be able to say, we use this product in X number of people, this is how they used it, X percentage of them saw a benefit, and that benefit persisted over X period of time. That will give us an advantage in marketing to our consumers. So we think that the storefront's important. We think it's going to become more of a wellness center, and we're going to look to integrate not just CBD products, but other wellness-related products in there that can ultimately have a benefit for human health.
Wow, okay, that does make a lot of sense. I'm sure that people would appreciate the storefronts. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
Absolutely, thank you very much.
I'm Rebecca Yarena, and this has been Behind the Buzz.